Alright guys, so I'm going to go over how to draw cylinders in 2-point perspective. Okay? So drawing cylinders is going to be fairly time consuming because there's a lot of steps. So what I want you to do on your paper is have 2 cubes drawn out like I have right now. Okay? We're going to start with this top one. Okay? So what you're going to do is, normally we only draw the 2 sides that we're going to see because our cubes aren't see-through. Well, to correctly draw a cylinder, we're going to need to draw all the sides. So that means going to both vanishing points inside the cube as well. Okay. I have to tidy some things up a little bit, but hopefully if you've done it correctly, you should see all 6 sides. I'm going to kind of tidy this up. Get rid of my converging lines. Alright, now, the next step in creating a cylinder is going to be finding the center of our sides. And the easiest way to do that is create an X, almost like how we did the doorways. So you're going to go corner to corner, draw a line, corner to corner, draw a line, and you're going to do the same thing at the top as well. So I essentially will have 2 X's on my paper. Okay. Now, this is going to help me kind of figure out where the circles are going to need to go, because that's what we're going to work on next. So I'm going to connect the center point of both my X's to find the center point of my cylinder. Now what you're going to do is, using this X to help guide you, you're going to draw a semicircle or an oval that sits in this. Okay? And you want to make sure that it touches all 4 sides like that. And you're going to do the same thing on the bottom, and you're going to do that on the top. Okay, notice it looks a lot more like an oval than a circle. Okay, that's important. So, once you have 2 ovals drawn, okay, you're going to use your ruler and kind of connect the sides using vertical lines. You can hopefully kind of see where this is becoming a cylinder. Now, I always kind of round out my sides. So taking this first line and following it down the verticals that I just drew down to this, and following it here. Hopefully you can kind of see a cylinder. Now, this is the part where a lot of people get confused. We have to erase a lot of the cube that we started with. So that means, you know, erasing all of this, okay, erasing parts of the X that we didn't end up using. Okay, lots and lots of cleaning up the old cube so that all we're left with is a cylinder. And that might mean you have to draw back your horizon line Okay. I'm going to erase some of the guts of the cube inside the cylinder because I don't want a see-through cylinder, so I'm going to get rid of the top of one circle. And get rid of some of these lines. Clean this up. I can only see the top line. Okay. And there it is, one cylinder. Okay. Now, cylinders on the horizon line are going to be pretty easy compared to cylinders below or above the horizon line. It's still going to be the same process, but as you can see, it didn't take terribly long to do that. And from there you can kind of turn it into anything you want. Maybe one of my buildings is a battery, I don't know. But you can very easily add to it pretty quickly. Now, this one, we already have our cube drawn, okay? And we're gonna finish it again like we did the last one, meaning we have to find all 6 sides. Okay, making sure I line everything up with the vanishing points. Okay. Alright, so I have all 6 sides again. Okay, so we're going to do the exact same thing we just did with this cylinder. We're going to use our ruler to find the center of our cubes. Okay, and I'm going to do the same thing on the back side. Alright, now we're going to do the exact same thing that we did next. We're going to turn this into our circular kind of oval. Okay. Remembering that it needs to touch all 4 sides. It doesn't have to touch the corners, but it does need to touch all 4 sides. And we're going to do the same thing to the back. Okay. Now, what we're going to do next is we're going to use our ruler and we're going to line up our vanishing point. Should have made this a little bit bigger. Okay, we're going to line up our vanishing point with this front circle. Like this. And we're going to draw a little guideline that's going to help us out. So it's going to touch from one side of the circle to this side of the circle. We're going to do the same thing with the top. So you can see how it touches this circle, it touches that circle. I can go ahead and draw my line. Okay, now we're going to be left with most of a cylinder. We just have to kind of clean it up and erase. Now, because I can see my cylinder from this angle and I see this side, I need to keep this circle completely. So all I need to erase on this side is my X and part of my cube. And that was all I needed to erase right there. Then I can erase this line because I don't need it anymore. I want to keep this line that I just added because that's going to be part of the cylinder, but I can erase this point down here. I can kind of start to tidy this up. Alright. And then I'm going to erase this inside circle. So all I have is that outer edge of my cylinder. like that. All right. And there I have 2 cylinders. If you wanted to turn this into something kind of fun, you could turn it into like a Tootsie Roll. You could just sort of add some, maybe add some paper here. And then you have like a little piece of candy. Remembering that our lines and our letters need to go back to this vanishing point. Okay, so that is how you create cylinders in perspective.